Good morning, everyone, and thank you. So my English is not good. I said I would try to do the best. I am from Argentina, so I do prefer French or maybe Italian. So I would do in English, Robert. So good morning, Congressman Robert Pittenger. Thank you for your leadership and for keeping all of the members of this growing forum united to continue finding solutions and effective action against organized crime. And thank you as well for including this topic, a new topic on the agenda, transnational crime convergence on the forum agenda. I will try to be brief and to the point. I am the Regional Director of Crime Stopper International for the Caribbean, Bermuda, and Latin America, based in Panama. And at Crime Stopper Caribbean, Bermuda, and Latin America, we are trying to introduce these issues that concern us across the region, what we call criminal ecosystems, criminal convergence, and kleptocracy. This matter works in a concert to erode our democracy, freedom, economic development, and national security. Over a decade ago, the group of drugs traffickers, human traffickers, and smugglers, money launderers, weapon dealers, and other workers by themselves, they maintain a certain linkage, but those relationships, where a few and far between, are not operational. Now, criminal groups have come together and they operate jointly. As they found that they work in the same markets, they use the same routes to move their products, resort to the same structures and scheme of money laundering, and more importantly, they pay bribes to the same public officials. Taking advantage of the rapid development of the communication technologies, they began to organize as a single criminal body to expand their operations, lower their criminal overhead, gain greater protections, and reap higher illegal profits, much of which they launder through international trade that previously was only under the control of smuggling cartels, but which now is a key activity in a criminal ecosystem that moves large sums of money around the world, transferring value to the products that are sold legally or illegally in many countries. Here we have a very important example in Latin America and the Caribbean in relation to illicit trade of alcoholic beverage. We have a very big problem with these kind of products in Central America and the Caribbean. And they earn a lot of illegal money using these kind of goods. Corrupt actors did not want to be left out of the new forum of criminal enterprises. Before, they were simple facilitators of organized crime, but in recent years, as they gained more control over their political territories, they decided to become criminal partners in these convergence structures, increasing their share of the profits while also depending their involvement in the business. Thus, we see public officials, politicians, congresspeople, mayor, and others related to the associated with activities of these criminal structures. We have a lot of examples in Latin America. At first, it sprang from the need to win elections. The transnational criminal structures work with local gangs, and these local gangs exert control over the territories and populations. Getting elected as a mayor or legislator means negotiating with these local groups or gangs. Next, involvement in the criminal enterprises was needed to stay in political power until finally becoming a criminal partner. We can refer here to small territories, such as municipalities, or to entire countries, leading to narco states, klepto states, or simple criminal states. This is even more dangerous on a global scale when extremist or terrorist regimes are among these strategic partners. According to the new corruption report, the private sector in Latin America, part of the private sector in Latin America is facilitator of corruption, and for many of these organized crime activities, often related to laundering the money. This partnership among different organized criminal groups and the public and private sector on a transnational scale to establish a multinational criminal corporation that offers different illicit goods and services is something we call a criminal convergence. It comes from the natural mutation adaptation, and survival of its member, the criminal structures, formed by external threat and fostered within a criminal ecosystem that is as old as a human history itself. The criminal convergence gains strength with another concept that we recommend adding to the focus of our daily work, kleptocracy. The term corruption is outdated. Is it considered an isolated illegal action by a public official, such as asking for a bribe or taking kickback from a public tender? As I said before, corrupt public officials have become partners in criminal structures, and both have begun to infiltrate nearly all levels of the public and private sector, the security and the justice system, the media, the civil society organizations, universities, and international organizations to gain and exert invisible control and to build a narrative that justifies their actions or even facilitate the creation of illicit environment in which to offer their criminal goods and services. In a kleptocracy, anyone who fails to fall in the line with the criminal plan is expelled from the system. One way of doing so is to harm their reputation with false stories, amplified by all strategic partners to take them out of the game. For high-profile public, political, or economic figures, simple sending a hitman is not an option. So they use a strategy of kleptocracy to neutralize them. The diverse goods, products, and services of the criminal convergence represent a broad portfolio to supply the specific demand of a world in which human beings are now one of the main products, generating $1 million in revenue for human trafficking structures and illegal human smugglers. We have witnessed this at the Darien region in Panama, the Darien Gap, as well as in Africa, the Middle East, Europe, the Caribbean, and Latin America. Moving people is a huge illicit business right now, in which often the criminal structures themselves create the conflicts or social conditions that drive people to emigrate, especially to the United States or Europe. These social conflicts are created through the criminal convergence. We use the kleptocracy to create the context and narratives that justify migration, while also protecting it under the umbrella of humanitarian aid. This topic is too complex and long to explain in just a few minutes, but I wanted to introduce the issues and share the problem that Crime Stopper has identified for combating criminal convergence. Number one, investigation, intelligence, and prosecutor teams continue to investigate crimes separately, rather than under the logic of a criminal convergence. In doing so, they fail to dimension to the entire universe of the criminal ecosystem, and crime fighting is not effective. When one of the links of the criminal logistic chain is attacked, the rest of the chain is left intact, and criminal organizations are able to regroup very fast. It's the cockroach effect. There are no laws in our countries, there are no laws to address the operation of organized crime from the standpoint of the criminal convergence. We have laws on drugs, on human trafficking, on money laundering, on illicit trade, etc., but none that allow us to fight the overall criminal ecosystem. It was number two. Number three, we can see a lack of training among the operator of the justice system to understand the criminal convergence phenomenon. They are highly focused on each crime independently, even though there are indeed task forces that include different security agencies. Each agency continues to work as an insulated entity within the task force. Add to this the lack of trust among agencies within a given country or between different countries, which limits the sharing of information or access to their respective databases. Data analysis system and intelligent artificial for intelligence and criminal investigation do not have special algorithms to perform an analysis on transnational crime convergence. Articulating an approach to criminal convergence, the criminal ecosystem and kleptocracy is complicated, and it requires joint work across different public, private, domestic, and international sectors. At Crime Stopper, we will continue to promote this topic, but we need your help to do so effectively. In Latin America and the Caribbean, it's essential to position this approach to public security and fighting organized crime. For the United States especially, criminal activity in this region poses a threat to national security and commercial, political, and diplomatic relations outside US borders. Congressman Pittenger, the Parliamentary Intelligence Security Forum that you oversee is the natural space to debate these issues. I recommend to create a special task force on criminal convergence and kleptocracy to follow up on this discussion in the United States and around the world. And for all of you who are interested in joining us in these talks, I invite to continue the conversation. If there is a global criminal convergence, we must create a conversion among all the public and private sectors, a conversion of all of us to stop it. Democracy and freedom at a risk in the face of this new criminal expression. Thank you.